Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan. Nope, that's not it. Hi everyone, nope, let me wait. Okay, back with another episode of Recipe on the Back. I don't want to say back twice. It's the show where Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan. Back. No, I'm not back. Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan from The Candid Appetite, here with another episode of Recipe on the Back. Show where I go to the grocery store, find different products that have recipes on the back. I make them here at home, I tell you if they're any good, and we just have some fun. So let's get started. On this week's episode, we have a bag of walnuts. Kroger brand walnut halves and pieces. And the recipe is apple walnut cake. Pretty straightforward. You don't even need a mixer, which is nice. And then it's got this like dairy sour cream walnut topping, which sounds a little weird, but let's try it. So we have to make the cake first. So it has flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, eggs, oil, milk, vanilla, and a can of apple pie filling, which I never use this stuff, but it's there, convenient, why not? And then it's got sour cream, sugar, baking soda, and then walnuts for the topping. Sounds pretty easy. So we need to mix all the dry ingredients first in a large bowl. So we have 2 cups of flour, and this is the way I always scoop out flour. I don't like when you scoop it in like this, because when you're doing that, it packs the flour in and you're adding more flour than you actually need. So you want to keep things light. So I fluff it up and then with a spoon, add the flour to the cup, lightly like that, and then level it off. And then some sugar. So we have 3/4 cup. With the sugar, it's fine, you can scoop into it. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. You don't need a mixer, which is nice, because you can just do it all with a whisk. It doesn't take much time at all. It's almost like a quick bread, like if you were to do muffins. A 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna whisk that together just until it's well combined. You can also sift everything together if you want. Then you beat all the wet ingredients. So 2 eggs. Every time I bake anything, I always use room temperature eggs because they blend into the batter easier. 2/3 cup of vegetable oil. That'll keep the cake moist instead of butter, which kind of dries it out. And then 1/2 cup of milk. Teaspoon of vanilla, we'll just eyeball it. Whisk that until smooth. And then you just add it to the dry ingredients. So at this stage, you don't want to over mix it because it'll make your cake dry. So you just want to stir until it just comes together and there's no more dry ingredients throughout. And then it says you pour this into a pan. This seems like a very small amount of batter for a 9x13, which is what they're asking for. I'm skeptical, but we'll see. So pour it into a 9x13 pan that's been greased with cooking spray or butter. Spread it out evenly. Seems like a little bit of batter. And then it says to top it with the apple pie filling. I think you can use the same kind of concept with any kind of canned pie filling. I've seen, like cherry, blueberry, strawberry. It would be just as good, I think. Okay, boom. Look at that. There it is, look. Wow. Can you see that? I think it's enough batter. So I take back what I said. Aww. So bake 30 to 35 minutes, 350, or until the center's firm and a toothpick comes out clean when you put it in the center. That's it. Cake is done. Look at this. It looks pretty good. It did puff up more than I thought it would. And it baked at the time it said. So all things are looking good so far. That's gonna cool for a little bit, but then we're gonna make the topping for it, which is finally where the walnuts come in because this is a recipe from a walnut bag and there've been no walnuts so far. The topping is sour cream, sugar, baking soda, and walnuts. Sounds a little weird, not gonna lie, but maybe it's gonna be good. We'll see. I have this little handy dandy camping stove now, which I got towards the end of the season, but hey, we have it now and it's gonna work. So we have a little saucepan here. We're gonna add the sour cream. It's a half a cup of sour cream with a cup of granulated sugar and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. It cooks over low heat just until it begins to simmer. So just keep stirring it and cook it down for a little bit. Honestly, I really don't know about warm sour cream. Maybe it'll be good.
Hang on.
Yes, it's on.
Wait, didn't you put the apples on top of it?
Yeah. Whenever you do that, because I've seen cakes like this, they're sometimes called buckles, and you put the fruit on top. Two things. Obviously, the fruit is a little heavier, so it's going to sink down into the cake, but also the batter, as it rises, it goes like over the fruit. So that's why it kind of looks like that. It's magic, PK. It smells a little funky. But I'm not the biggest fan of sour cream, whereas Julian can eat it by a spoonful, which is kind of gross.
It's not gross.
Sounds a little gross.
It is delicious.
So it kind of got bigger, also browned a little too much. That might have been my fault. But hey, we're gonna go with it. Topping's done. We're going to pour this over the warm cake. You wanna do it while it's still warm because it'll start to absorb some of this topping, which is what we want. So pour the topping over it. Spread it out in an even layer. And then we add the walnuts. A half a cup of walnuts sprinkled on top. That's it. Kind of just crush them in your hand so you don't even have to chop them. It doesn't say to toast them, but I think it would have been better if I toasted it, but now it's too late. That's it. It's done. Listen, it doesn't look that appetizing to me, if I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks better without the topping. But maybe it's gonna be really good. It smells like sour cream. Done. Dunzo. So the cake is done. Right off the bat, I'll tell you, it was super easy to make, which is good. A lot of the packaged recipes we've done this season have been pretty simple. And I think it's because I've said before, you don't have that much real estate on a package, so you want an easy recipe. I think this is as easy as it gets. It's a very achievable recipe. You can make it at home in no time at all. I mean, you saw it. It literally takes no effort. You're just adding the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, and then you got a cake. Let's try it.
How's it cut?
It cuts beautifully. There it is. It looks good. Look at that. The cake itself looks really good. The topping, we'll see. It's hot.
How hot is it?
It's really hot. It's actually really good.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
It tastes like cake.
What about the sour cream?
You can't taste that it's sour cream. It just tastes like a glaze. It's delicious, honestly. Wow. It tastes like fall. Fall in a cake.
Which it is.
Apples and the cinnamon. Wow. Delicious. It's honestly really good. It's a moist cake, and I think it's because of the oil. It's apples and cinnamon. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. For it being a recipe on a walnut package, I will say the walnuts on top is kind of just like an afterthought. It's just sprinkled on top. I think it would be good if the walnuts were inside and on top. So that's my one complaint. But other than that, it's delicious. It's easy. It's a quick recipe to make. If you're having company over and you want something fast, do it. Make it. I would give this 6 Napoleons. I'm not even gonna reason with it. That's what it is, okay? Take it or leave it. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week. I'll make something else. Who knows what it'll be. Follow me. Watch all the episodes. Like, comment. I'll be here. Bye.